Yeah, hey there, Connell. So I was able to ask White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about that in the White House briefing a short time ago, and she did reiterate that they have seen the killing stop, the executions cancel, and they are continuing to keep a close eye on it. I wanted to play a bit of what she had to tell me because we were trying to ask her about whether or not the president was planning some sort of military action last night when we were talking about all of these developments and the change in his tone from Tuesday to Wednesday, and then we were getting reporting from sources in the region that it was the Arab states, it was the Saudis, the Qataris that were saying that they were able to talk to Trump and convince him to hold off on a strike, saying he should give Iran a chance here to quell these protests. But then there's other reporting out there that U.S. officials were saying that the president wouldn't be able to take down the entire regime, and it could lead to a wider conflict if he were to strike. So we asked Caroline Leavitt for an update on all of that, and this is what she had to tell us.
Look, Kelly, I know there's been a lot of speculation in the media about what the president is going to do at any given moment or any given night. And I would say a lot of these stories, to be honest with you, I've been reading them, and they've been based on anonymous sources who are pretending or guessing to know the president's thinking. The truth is, only President Trump knows what he's going to do, and a very, very small team of advisors are read into his thinking on that. And as I just told you, he continues to closely monitor the situation on the ground in Iran.
But we do know that that execution that was set to happen on Wednesday, that was not happening. They said that the Efron Soltani, the 26-year-old, has not been sentenced to death per state media, but he is still under arrest. So certainly keeping a close eye on that, as we are hearing from more Iranian Americans that they believe the killing has not stopped, as we continue to see what reports come out of Tehran. Connell.
There's one other really important point, I think, Kelly, on all of this. We were so focused on that change in tone, as you referenced, from the president yesterday. It was right around this time he came out with those comments in the Oval Office, which we had live, and we spent the whole show talking about it. Then right at the end of our show, you reported something that was important, and was the fact that you were hearing about an aircraft carrier moving to the region, which would lead you to believe maybe there's still more options on the table. So what more are we learning about that today?
And that was notable about the timing, because I was talking with some officials from the Department of War, and it didn't seem as though the strikes were imminent, as some people were wondering last night. And they pointed to the fact that they are moving a carrier from the South China Sea to the Middle East, and something like that would take about a week or so to complete. So perhaps keeping the options open. And remember, he moved a lot of military hardware to the Caribbean right before making any kind of move in Venezuela. So a lot of the hardware remains in the Caribbean, but they are trying to move some back to the Middle East, so they have options to kind of decide from whether or not they are going to make a move. So it's something to keep a close eye on as we head into the weekend and into next week. Connell.
All right, Kelly Myers live for us at the White House once again today. Now,
thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.